What I want is to be hooked up to a machine. It just is processing data out of my brain for 6 months straight, learns exactly how I like to set up my Jiras.
Hi, I'm Andy. You Alex?
Yes, completing cruise.
Yeah, that's the one.
Hop in.
Oh.
How have you been, Andy? Haven't seen you in a while.
Man, I'm good. I'm very good. Really enjoying this hot weather in Vegas. It's really, the weather in Europe is terrible at the moment. It's like 6 months of cloud, winter.
Oh, we have this weather the whole year.
How's tricks down in San Diego?
I left.
You what? When?
January.
What? You told me you were planning, but I didn't know you did it.
Yeah, no, I did it.
Where are you now then?
Corona, LA area.
Oh.
I moved because my family lived that way, and it was taking forever to get to my family.
Man, I've promised you to come to San Diego for forever. I'm glad I didn't do an impulse trip, and you're like, yo, I'm not there, dude.
I don't live there anymore.
Oh, hilarious.
So let's talk Jira.
Yeah, man.
What are your thoughts on the AI push?
So today we had the info sesh with Cyber Media. And
They turned that into a big AI conversation there at the
it
beginning.
got very AI across all the panel sessions, even though there's only one official panel session about AI. But what I found interesting is rounding off the whole day, after the final panel that was talking about admins and AIs and Atlassian intelligence, and I said, has anyone learned anything new? No hands went up. I said, has anyone's kind of minds changed about AI or Atlassian intelligence in particular, and the state and where it's at and where it's going? No one raised their hand. So I think it's an interest. It will always be a conversation. It's hot topic and trending right now. But I think at the same time, today's sessions really kind of just proved it's been talked to death now, and people with the right knowledge, they just know that it's not gonna, in the next year or so, massively change the world, right? And I think, if you look at that, machine learning has been sort of not invented but been pushed since the 1950s, and then look at where we are today. I see a lot of people trying it for more marketing purposes and content creation and stuff like that. And when we talk Jira, I'm not interested in most of what, say, ChatGPT has to offer. What I want is to be hooked up to a machine. It just is processing data out of my brain for 6 months straight, learns exactly how I like to set up my Jiras or my Trellos or whatever systems I'm using.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because right now it's so generic.
It's so
that
generic.
it gives you a little kickstart,
Yeah.
but it doesn't do anything meaningful and I wouldn't be betting millions of dollars on it.
Yeah, I'm not anti-AI either, though. I think a lot of people hear my comments and see what I post online and think, oh, he doesn't believe in AI. I definitely do. I just think its application right now is incorrect. Not incorrect. I mean, we've got to start somewhere. But if just to talk a little bit negatively about Atlassian intelligence and Jira Service Management integration in particular, it's nothing more than automation on steroids.
Right.
I don't mean that in a negative sense. I just mean that, Erica Larson said today in one of the panelist sessions at Info Session, she said, for now, you're always going to need a human in the room. And everyone loved that statement. It made the whole room go yeah, almost applauded it,
Yeah.
there was a big gasp of, yeah, we agree.
Yeah, I call it a human in the loop still.
Human in the loop, yeah, exactly. And if I look at, for example, Assist, which is the Slack integration into JSM, it's amazing. You type your basic, I need help with X. You hit that little ticket icon and it starts a whole big thread. But the behind infrastructure of that is a human being building out huge workflows and stuff like that. So for me, Atlassian intelligence, I don't mean it in a mean way or to talk negatively or anyone.
You throw shade, as you like to say.
Throw shade, yeah, I love that term. I'm not throwing shade, but it's just automation on steroids right now. What I want to see is stuff like how many tens of I want to say tens of hundreds of years, but that's not true. But for over a decade, so many admins have been cleaning up their systems and managing their configuration, right? And I'm like, surely there is some underlying big data that could be analyzed to say, well,
Don't do this, do that.
yeah, like that. There has to be some form of data within big data on Atlassian side that says any project over 7 years old gets auto-deleted. So we'll just put that into the AI. We'll tell the machines, yo, projects older than X, not touched.
Yeah.
Just
Or-
archive it.
Or just
Not-
help the admin not make common mistakes or not build for inefficiencies,
Right.
right? Because you can literally do anything you want with these. Going back to Atlassian though, when you mentioned automation rules,
Yeah.
Atlassian Intelligence, I was just peeking under the covers the other day, and
Yeah.
automation rules you can literally type in natural language now
Okay.
into
Okay.
your automation rule builder section,
Yeah.
and it will pretty well, in my opinion, build you an automation rule.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I was quite impressed.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And then the next question is when do we get to the phase of AI when you no longer have to type anything in because the AI just goes,
Which
well, I
part do
know
you
what
think?
I know what you like or what is good or what's best practice, and it just does it automatically. I'll be intrigued to see when we can do something like grabbing your phone when you're at home and you just go, hey Alexa, I need a new Jira instance called Andy and Alex in Tesla.Atlassian.net. Build it from my top 5 favorite projects or something. And
Yeah.
it does all the same stuff. And then 2 hours later, Alexa's like, hi Andy, I have built you this brand new instance, blah, blah, blah.
I can see that going a little bit further where not only is it just setting up your Jira projects, but setting up your Git repository,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Set up your main branch, your develop branch,
Yeah.
show you how to set up those feature branches,
Yeah.
block you when you're not following a specific model or method correctly,
Yep.
right? And just really coach you through it, not just because right now, like I said, it still feels very gimmicky. It feels very much like
It does.
If I look at AI, for me, definitely I want AI to clean up my systems. Optimized systems are the best.
Right.
Like when you have a really nice, clean system, you know where you're at with your data and this sort of stuff. Look at Confluence, right? When you've got too many attachments that aren't necessary, let's say you do loads of versioning or something, and the designer doesn't delete, the latest Figma file or something, and then you have this history of all the Figmas in there or something.
something.
You know,
It's
that'd be
gigabytes a
something.
day.
That costs money, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, which files are what files have a versioning 0.1 to 0.9, etc., etc. What could we actually, I'd love AI to do that for me. Just a weekly report on Friday, like, hey, I'm going to delete this over the weekend. And I just go,
Yes.
Yeah, because
Clean
just
up that system.
configure custom fields, right?
oh, the custom
They
fields.
just don't. Some of them don't get used. Some of them get forgotten.
Yep.
Clean that up for me. Workflows, right? The moment
Right.
because you know how many copies of a copy of a copy of a copy of a workflow I make,
Yeah.
right? Because every time that somebody wants to delete a status, you can't. You got to make a copy. Every time well, not every time, but every once in a while when you need to add a transition, you can't. You got to make a copy. So you end up with this pool
Yeah.
of just unused workflows that just hey,
Right.
somebody AI, just go clean it up for me.
And also talking of workflows, everybody has their own way of working, and I always love to talk to customers, to friends, to peers, whoever asks me. Don't take on a tool and try and work in the way that the tool is, right? The tool shouldn't direct how you work. You tell the tool how you want to work. However, there is a little bit of a limit with that. I recently joined one of the marketplace partners to do some contracting, and their workflow doesn't work for me, but it does for them overall as an organization. So I just have to now fit within their workflow. But so that's going well. Where it goes super wrong, and to your point, is somebody comes in and is like, oh, I don't like this workflow, and then let's say they've got just the right amount of admin settings to adjust it themselves.
Right.
That's the
Then it gets
worst. You end up with
dangerous.
you end up with workflow 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, whatever, and sometimes it's just one tiny little extra step or just a different
Yeah.
loop or something. Those-
it's crazy.
yeah.
I wish Atlassian would give us a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
Talk about avoiding those headaches, change management, right? This is where Salto is a really good
Yeah.
kind of a tool, not necessarily for user management, but definitely when you're using changes or doing changes like that. Even me as an expert, right? There's always uh-oh moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jira doesn't have anything built in to really help you in those kind of
No.
moments of need. Any thoughts
It's-
on change management or what companies should do to alleviate or mitigate that problem?
I mean, if you're using an app like Salto, like that's why I really believe in the marketplace apps. If you need configuration management, I think even Rodney today in the panel session, he was talking about the mistakes he's made, and we all look to him as the Jira god who writes the blogs and everything, right? Sits with you. But you two are very, even with the Jira Life podcast, you two are very willing and open to just go, oh man, we like just last week I messed up or something like that, right? But yeah, that's why the apps are so cool to help us with that and are sort of worth the investment and everything. Yeah. But I think the most important thing, that's what everybody, well, 95% of the world always seems to forget, is benefits. Benefits don't start straight away. They often don't start after you've completed your project goals. So let's say, oh, I found a great configuration management tool in Salto on the marketplace. It's going to cost me 50 grand, and within the first few weeks I can do ABC. That's your project goals. That's not necessarily your benefits. So what's that, how much is that money gonna, how much return on investment do you get back at the end of the day? And I think it's like Cookie's always talking about, I can't remember who he learned it from, but he worked for somebody who used to say, don't show me a business case of why to do something, show me the business case of why not, because it's like, the one takes way too long and the other one nobody ever wants to do. They're like, oh, I don't have time for that. Yeah, okay, so let's not argue about it kind of principle. I think you do need some form of a business case, especially if you're going to spend a lot of money. But again, it doesn't need to be the world's biggest one, but it definitely needs to have like those benefits. Like compliance is another hot topic within the Atlassian ecosystem at the moment. Are people compliant? Can they survive their audits and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, there's some apps that I think a lot of people just forget that they need. Something like Salto being one of them, right? There's compliance stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then, because most people just forget that Jira's in the cloud and they just assume that because it's in the cloud, it's taken care of.
Yeah.
But like that couldn't be farther from the truth.
I feel like you need to have one full-time admin who just looks after it, understands it, really knows what they're talking about.
You'd be surprised. Like I think people have a hard time justifying that, but like I got 2,000 users. I got a team of 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which comes out roughly 250.
Right.
And you'd be like, well, how in the world do you need 5 experts for this tool for 2,000 people? And it's like every day, there's a new fire for me. Mm-hmm. Not a single day passes by where I'm like, I'm gonna go watch a movie or something.
Right.
Because like
not a single
every
day.
day there's just like a brand, and it's a new problem.
Yep. And imagine the systems where people don't like. I think that Atlassian is one of the very few ecosystems that has a good focus. Microsoft 365 is the same. These kind of ecosystems have a good focus on admins and trying to help companies understand admins. Even though I'm judgmental that I know one data center instance of 10,000 and they have all of their admins are like this part-time thing, like everyone chips in whenever there's a problem or whatever, which is like unfathomable nightmare to me. But there are systems and platforms out there that have no admins whatsoever, right? Like
a Monday.com?
Like Monday.com, they don't have dedicated, like there's no push on admins. The famous ones is CRM. Yeah, HubSpot, Salesforce, these kind of CRM tools and systems, Zoho as well, they don't promote admin lifestyle and admin taking care of it. And And it often just ends up being in the hands of, say, for HubSpot, it's either the sales or the marketing team that own it, right? And then those teams never get like an admin-specific IT tech type person to help them with their system. And then in larger companies, the IT team like, well, you wanted the system, so we installed it for you, you look after it.
Andy, I do need to ask you, who do you think would like to be on something like this?
Oh man, do you know, I absolutely 100% recommend PDP, Peter Preston from McCoil.
Yep. So he's an up-and-coming character.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if up-and-coming. I mean, he just, the last few years, he kind of moved from one lane to another, but him and his co-founders of their new app, Coil Analytics, they went into the Atlassian marketplace for consulting for a while, and obviously he's got that really cool growth. They do that growth newsletter to help marketplace vendors, but they're of Proforma fame. I don't know if you remember ThinkTilt. So they're the ones that originally made that and then sold out to Atlassian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And hopefully I'll see you on the expo floor. Special thanks to Salto for putting this entire initiative together. Salto is a complete DevOps platform for configuration management for Jira, JSM, and Confluence. It allows teams to automatically copy configurations between sites, whether you're doing sandbox to production or a cloud production to another cloud production. It does it really, really well, and most importantly, very, very easily.